I know you've seen the footage again and again of Jonathan Ross, this fragile, pathetic piece of shit, circling Becca and Renee's vehicle like a wounded animal circling his prey. Becca Wood was outside of her car because Renee was looking to do a 3-point turn. They just dropped off their 6-year-old at school. They're new in the neighborhood. That's why she was outside the vehicle.
She was in the car with her, bro. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your peoples yet?
A friend of mine once said that lesbians always act like they're the smartest ones in the room. You know why? Because they usually are the smartest ones in the room. This emotionally stunted, immature man-child was intimidated by these women. And he's the one with the gun.
Not only is she not trying to agitate or aggravate the situation, she's actually trying to de-escalate the situation. Then Jonathan Ross goes to the back of the car where he encounters Renee's wife. There's something in this part of the footage that I think is important to note. See here, you can see in the reflection of the car, his phone is in his right hand. Then as he's filling the license plate, he encounters Renee's wife. And big, strong Jonathan does not like what she has to say. While they're having their exchange, he walks further around the car, and then he does this. He switches the phone from his right hand to his left hand, because what side of his body is his firearm on? See, he was ready. He switched his phone from his right hand to his left hand so his right hand could be ready.
We have seen far-right and conservative media demonizing LGBTQ communities for ages, but of course an acceleration of it in recent times. And you all know by now, the footage shows that Renee was turning her vehicle to the right to leave. The footage shows Becca outside the car talking to the agent. Yes, in a condescending tone, but much deserved. This is, of course, where a professional is supposed to maintain their calm and their level head and de-escalate. But of course, in this case, this hothead gets more and more infuriated. Of course, again, of all people, a lesbian talking him down. The moment we see Becca trying to get back in the car, the ICE agents, and previously the ICE agents were telling Renee to move, are now rapidly approaching the car, grabbing the handle, trying to grab the inside of the handle, telling Renee to get out of the vehicle. Think of how women all across the world, in particular queer women, lesbian women, are confronted with homophobia, with hatred. Women have to be vigilant at all times in society, where they work, live, worship, study, hang out, at work, on the subway, at an event, coming back home after dropping their kid at school. I made a previous video about Renee's murder. The comment section was filled with comments from bots and from men, saying things like, commenting about her being a lesbian, a paid agitator, and all this nonsense. But the comment that I saw far and away above more than any other is that she should have been home, she should not have been out there, she should have been minding her business, she should have known her role, stayed at home with her kid. Of course, she just dropped her kid off at school. The point here is that part of the frustration and the anger directed towards Renee is that she was a woman who was not submitting to authority, not respecting the hierarchy, not respecting male power, male supremacy. Her very existence is a threat. And it is very clear to me that homophobia, that misogyny, escalated the anger and the frustration in this ICE agent. This sentiment that women should stay home, stay out of the way, get out of the way of men, get out of men's way, respect the hierarchy, because that's the only way we can feel some kind of power, some kind of value and worth, is holding power over women and gender expansive people, over queer and trans people, non-binary people. Telling women to stay home when their work, their endless work, their role is to lead. They are leaders. They are leading the way. Women's endless work of leading and protecting others, protecting people from men. Women need to know their role and shut their mouth, be quiet, stay deferential, and never obstruct, never get in the way. A woman standing up to a man just by existing just by showing logic, just by speaking in common terms, just by speaking frankly, threatens a fragile, insecure, emotionally stunted man like Jonathan Ross. This is all part of a war on many different groups and communities, but it is definitely part of the war on women, the war on anything and anyone deemed feminine. Women's voices, bodies, lives, anyone that doesn't respect the binary, the hierarchy. The war on women is due to them being perceived as a threat to male supremacy, the hierarchy of male dominance. A war on women because women are blocking the way. Women aren't in the way, boys. They're leading the way. Because the women lead with hope, with courage, with softness, with love. Love that is a strength, not a weakness. A weakness that clearly has infested men like Jonathan Ross. Misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, this vile hatred is a threat to our communities, to everyone. Women just speaking up, having a voice, showing up in everyday life, not staying home with their kids, is perceived as a threat to male supremacy and male power. Because it is. It's a threat to patriarchy. It's a threat to white male supremacy. Men who feel intimidated. Men who don't know what to do when a woman has a voice, when a woman stands up, when a woman is just existing in the world. They feel threatened, and they circle her like prey.
We know what we saw, and we know what we heard, and we know the difference between a woman who says, I'm not mad at you, and tries to leave, and a man who says, fucking bitch, and shoots somebody in the face.
Becca Good, wife of Renee Good, shared a statement, a memorial, read here by Minneapolis reporter Jenna Shortle.
The statement is as follows. Becca's words. I want to extend my gratitude to all the people who have reached out from across the country and around the world to support our family. The kindness of strangers is the most fitting tribute because if you ever encountered my wife, Renee Nicole Macklin Good, you knew that above all else, she was kind. Renee lived an overarching belief. There is kindness in the world and we need to do everything we can to find it where it resides and nurture it where it needs to grow. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe. We were raising our son to believe that no matter where you come from or what you look like, all of us deserve compassion and kindness. Renee lived this belief every day. She is pure love. She is pure joy. She is pure sunshine. On Wednesday, January 7th, we stopped to support our neighbors. We had whistles. They had guns. Renee leaves behind 3 extraordinary children. The youngest is just 6, and he has already lost his father. I am now left to raise our son and continue teaching him as Renee believed that there are people building a better world for him, that the people who did this had fear and anger in their hearts and we need to show them a better way. We honor her memory by living her values, rejecting hate and choosing compassion, turning away from fear and pursuing peace, refusing division and knowing we must come together to build a world where we all come home safe to the people we love. That is from Becca Good, the wife of now the late Renee Good.